It is that time we get to talk about our personal finance. And I love talking about personal finance. Well, talking about me, my name is Joy Ure. Today on personal finance, we're looking at how come the Nigerian stock market seems to be doing the princess that she is. I say she because hey, I'm a princess, aren't I? Well, Nigerian stock market seems to be hot at the moment. And I wonder, is it something we want to stay in or get out? Well, we'll find out today because um Nigeria's stock market seems to be doing good. So far this year, we are up 62.2%, and we're just in the second week in the month of May. So you see why I say we're doing hot, right? Well, to put this into proper perspective, so anyone who's listening now can understand, um, all of 2025, the market was only up by 51%. So you see why I say we're doing like the princess that we are. I can't say the queen just yet, but at least we'll stay with princess level. While some people have said, hey, we're just in a bubble and it can burst. Others are saying that the market still has room for improvement and for the climb, which is what we're looking at. But what does that mean for you and me, who is trying to diversify their portfolio, make sure that it's growing? And if you're not in the market already, should you be willing to jump in? And for those who are in already, do you want to stay or do you want to get out? Thankfully, we have an asset manager in the building in-house. And he'll be answering most of our questions today. First off, and let's say good evening to you, Taufik. He is Taufik Subair. He is an investment research analyst at Pathway Management Limited. Good evening. I'm glad to have you, Taufik.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. Good evening.
Okay. But every point in time, I need you to speak into the mic. All right, all right, all right. Now, talking about how glamorous the market is looking right now, um, it just seems like we're on an upward climb, which is good. It's climbing, it's climbing. We like things that are on the upward rise, but what can we attribute to our stocks? In a sense, catching fire.
Uh, okay, good evening once again. Okay, thank you very much for that question. So we can attribute some collection of factors to the momentum we are seeing in the market.
Okay.
So if you look at the reform that we have seen that has been executed in our markets, we have seen the foreign exchange reform,
Okay.
and now beyond the foreign exchange reform, we have also seen more participation in the markets. So if you look at the trading hour now, it has been extended, right? Initially, the trading hour, is just between 10 and 2:30. Now it has been elevated to 9 to 4 p.m., right? Now, to answer the question, right, the major factor that is driving the market was the earnings reports. We
Mm.
are getting solid earnings from companies listed on the NGS. So when we have good earnings reports, based on the numbers, because numbers don't lie, right? So if you look at the numbers, and the number is justifying whatever valuation that this market is doing in terms of the price, definitely you want to maintain your positive momentum, because it is telling you that if the company can do X, Y, Z, if they can outperform the base year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's telling you there is still more room for growth. So now to cap it, if you look at the market again, you see that we have liquidity eating the market from the pension space, right? And if you look
Mm.
at the retail investors as well, more retail people are now participating. Both retail, both institution, they are participating, because this market, you want to grow your money.
Oh, definitely.
And if you look at the what's it called, the alternative assets, which is the
Mm.
fees income,
Mm.
yield are declining. So if the yield are
Ah,
declining, it means how do I hedge against inflation?
right.
So to outperform inflation, I need to look for an alternative asset that is going to put me in a more better position in terms of growing my capital. So as I work hard, I want my money to also work even more hard to give me better return.
Right. I like the fact that you said we need to work hard to make sure we're having better return. But here's the thing. Some people have alluded to the fact that we're living in a bubble. And with every bubble, once you prick it, it goes burst. So Do you agree with this notion that we're still in a bubble, or do you say that there's something else that's making this possible?
Okay, so if you look at the bubble, so I will approach it from a general point of view.
Okay.
So if you look at the markets collectively, generally, right, you can't say the market is in a bubble because what we have seen a lot of reform, we have seen a lot of factors, we have seen industrialization shaping the market.
Right.
There is no pressure on the FS because the major
Ah,
catalyst is the FS for me because when there is pressure on the FS, it means you want to be careful. If I'm a foreign participant in the market, I want to look at the risk premium that I'm going to place on allocating capital to the Nigerian markets now will be higher when I know the FS is not stable. But when FS is stable, it's telling me that the risk premium is going
it's
to be moderated.
right.
Then so I have a sense of what the exchange rate will look like in another 1 month or two, looking at the solid reserve. So it's giving me more comfort to participate in this market. Okay, fine, if I bring in my money here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to participate in the equity market, I'm going to get a decent return and I can move, I can plan. So all of those, see, the micro event is a leading indicator. So
Okay.
if we have a good leading indicator, it is going to put every participant in a comfortable position. And the company listed on the exchange, they are going to be able to create more value because these are real businesses. They buy and sell, they need FS, right?
It's not like you have
Yeah,
your pictures
it's
that
not
you can.
cryptocurrency that you cannot attribute to a particular asset class.
Right.
So these are true businesses that you can look at what they are doing. You can know whether you want to participate or not. You can tell from their core business to know that okay, this stock is going to move up based on what they are doing. This it has to be value driven. So just to cap us the question right. So to recognize whether you are a bubble or not,
Mhm.
you need to ask yourself an important question.
Which is
What is driving price? Is it the value that is driving price? Or is it emotion that is driving price? Or is it fear of missing out that is driving price? So if you can establish from the numbers that value is what is driving the price, so
um
definitely you are not in the bubble.
no.
Definitely.
I think so. There is value for what it is we have. So got to know that we're not in a bubble. But when market is this hot, there's usually fear that cripples in that creeps in. What is your advice for people who want to buy into it?
Okay, so my advice for people that want to buy into stocks listed on the exchange at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you just need to try to leverage the market and leverage the facility that the market presents. So this is what I mean.
Okay.
So if you look at the market, if you don't understand the dynamics of how investments work, so what is best for you is to leverage the system by looking for a reputable asset management company like Pathway Asset Management, for example.
Okay.
So if you invest in a fund, in a product like equity fund, for example, right, it means the asset managers, they know they are the experts in this field, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know how to allocate capital efficiently.
Okay.
So you don't want to gamble with your capital in the sense that you want to just look at the market. You want to say, wow, this stock is
It's
has been
too good.
moving, it's going. Okay, let me jump in. Maybe I can just benefit a little before I
Mhm.
just then jump out. You are not investing. You are speculating,
Okay.
and you are just gambling. Let me use that word. I don't want to use speculating because if you are a speculator, you are doing that from a place of knowledge, right?
Okay.
So if you need to know what you are buying into, is very key. So to cap it, to now put the what's it called the bubble in a perspective, right? So there are some stocks. The other time I was using a general note. No, now to be more specific, now there are some stocks that if you look at their fair value, looking at the intrinsic value,
It's
they
only
have
worth.
they have outperformed the valuation. There are some stocks like that.
Oh,
So you that you want to invest for knowledge gap point of view, right?
right.
You might just erroneously allocate your capital and you might just end up losing the capital. But if you leverage an asset management firm,
Film. Yeah.
right, they know what stocks to buy. If you look
Right.
at the equity fund, asset management firm, most asset managers have done so well. They have outperformed whatever inflation can be for the year, which has grown your money in recess.
That now makes it even more interesting and makes the queen, or she has not reached the queen, but makes the market really hot enough to be called a princess. And I'm enjoying this conversation. Well, I want to get your thoughts on some sectors of the market, and I think we should start off with the banking sector. That seems to be most interesting so far. I've been seeing some in. I've been seeing some digits play in that space, and it makes me wonder, were these people not there all this while? But really, talking about the banking sector, what is your take and what is your outlook for that sector?
Okay, now looking at the banking sector, right? So we have seen a lot of reforms that was passed by the CBN regarding them to clean up the balance sheet, make provision for bad loans. So that phase has passed. And now we have seen banks generate what's it called? Recapitalize. So that recapitalization now means they have more money to participate more in the market.
Right.
So you might look at it from a point of view of dilution. That how about if the increase the number of shares outstanding is not going to dilute the what's it called now? Dilute the earnings per share. That is not always the case because if you look at the banking sector before now, they are always trading below their book value. So what I mean by book value is if you look at a stock, right? Book value is telling you that it should be trading at, I don't want to put a number, but let me say 100. Okay. So okay, now it should be trading at 100 naira, for example, right? And looking at what the market is doing is just trading at maybe 14 naira, 15 naira, 16 naira.
Okay.
So it is telling you that from that book value point of view, they can do more. They are trading at discounts. Let me use that word. Now, what has really enabled the banking sector to catch up with their book value? We have seen that with some of the guys, some of the players in this industry. They have tried to catch up with the book value. It's because we now have more participation. We have some stocks, bank stocks that are listed on maybe London Stock Exchange, for example. So that is bringing liquidity to the market. It's bringing liquidity, participation is increasing, liquidity is increasing. So the efficient capital allocation, people that have knowledge, they are participating. They are looking at value.
You know what
They
the
are
value of
they,
that
they are
stock
looking at
is.
value. They are looking at value that wow, if a stock is trading below its book value, and it means it is cheap based on valuation. So if you buy today and maybe the stock reduces a little bit, you don't need to panic and sell the stock.
Okay.
You need to have a play game. This is who I am in the market. Identify who you are in the market. But as a retail investor, to be more specific, you might not want to actively play in the market because research is very expensive. It's not cheap. So if you want to, there's a lot of risk because it's capital allocation and you want to be efficient about it. So you need to leverage the system, the financial system. Like, okay, what products can I leverage to participate in this, to benefit from this market trajectory that we're experiencing? So if you leverage an asset management firm like passive asset management, for example, you just work hard for your money, put your money into an equity fund, for example, and go to sleep. Your money is working for you. You don't have to bother because if you try to participate in the market from a deficient knowledge point of view, for a lack of better word, right? You are going to your emotion is going to be attached directly.
Oh, nobody wants to lose their capital.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to see any profit go anywhere. But we'll touch more. We've talked on the banking sector. There's the one that is the kill for most people, and that is the oil and gas. We touched on that. But I also want to get into that space, so we also understand what is happening with the US war and all that, and what impact it can have. But we'll touch on that on the other side of the script with the Lagos, the mob muscle. So much knowledge to get in.
At Attain Capital, we tailor-fit financial solutions for your unique journey. The process of creating timeless wealth often begins with a right partner who understands your vision and the action required to bring it to life. Once you found the right partner, like Parthian Capital, nothing can stop you from turning the tiniest fabrics of your ideals to wealth that grows, evolves, and lasts across across several generations. You built wealth. Now, helping you deliver. Register on patentcapitalng.com. Send an email to patentcapitalng.com. Patent Capital. Your wealth means.
Corporate Capital Limited is registered and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigeria.
It's all about your finances made easy. Because financial education is about not working for money. For money. Personal finance on Fluid 98.1.
Well, still tuned in to Personal Finance here in Smooth 98.1. And we are still trying to get an essence as to why the stock market is looking like a broad right now. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, well, my guest today is Taufik Zubair, and he is an investment research analyst at Pathway Asset Management Limited. Been giving great insight as to why the stock market is looking like the bride or the princess, depending on who you're to be right now, and why it is you need to get in if you haven't gotten in. If you're in, the things that will make you stay, and if you're thinking of going out, why? Questions to ask yourself, and thoughts that will possibly make you wonder if your portfolio is looking right. And talking about portfolio, I did talk about how we need to talk about the oil and gas sector. We've touched about the banking sector. We're seeing that it is looking good so far. Now, seeing the oil and gas sector, we know what is happening with the war in the Middle East. My first question is this war good or bad for this sector? And looking at the stock exchange in Nigeria, what is the score?
So generally speaking, the war is not good for Nigeria, is not good for the world, to be honest. But this is reality. So when reality plays out, your job is to look at the market, to look at, okay, now that how do I allocate capital to benefit? Right. So we have been seeing fantastic what's it called performance from the oil and gas players in the oil and gas sector. Right. So we've seen that with Seplat, we've seen that with Ardell, right? So this sector has done so well because the price, if you look at the expectation for what's it called, the crude oil, based on Nigeria budget, is below $70, right? But what's the reality is that oil today is trading above 100 naira.
Right.
So 100, I'm sorry about that, $100 per barrel. I'm using Nigeria. $100 per barrel, right? So that spread is what is going to strengthen the margin of player in that sector.
Okay.
So that's like more money for them, and that's what most people are reacting to, because the valuation is going to increase with that rising, what's it called, the price of the product.
Well, like I said, one more excited about this one is because one of the players in this industry, and I'm talking for anyone who's I am talking about Dangote Refinery. So we just might be seeing the Dangote Refinery IPO, which is the initial public offer, coming out this year. So is there reason to be excited enough?
It's very important. It's an important asset, a national asset, to be more specific. Because before now, what is really causing major pressure on the FX is because we import most oil, right? We import a lot of things, but we import majorly oil. Before now, we don't have any refining capacity. We are not refining our products, what we consume. But having that facility is going to take off a lot of pressure on the FX.
Oh, okay.
Right? So for a player like Dangote coming to the market, that facility is so large. It's like the largest single train refinery in the world. Nigeria is just one country in the world, and just imagine the number of refineries we have in the world. So it is a very good listing when it happens, and it's going to increase what's it called, option for market participants. Because before now, imagine we have just 100 stock on the exchange. Now we now have additional stock, right? and the valuation is a very fantastic. There's a lot of product that we generate from what they call the refining business. Not only oil, there's a lot of that is generated by product that can be generated from that facility. And beyond reducing pressure on the naira,
Right.
we can also generate FS from that space
Ooh.
because it's going to be in dollars. It's a global commodity that is priced in dollars.
So, in a sense, it's a win-win for anyone who gets into that space where
No.
the oil and gas sector. It always seems like
But because with time, the valuation will increase. So when you just got listed, your valuation is going to be at the initial phase, right?
Oh, okay.
But over time, as you generate more value, and you know that is planning to even
Mhm.
expand, like saying, okay, we want to do. So like you want to double the capacity. There's a plan in the pipeline. So once they continue to add more value by expanding their footprint, expanding their production capacity, it's more money. That's the growth trajectory is only going to go upward from here.
The only way is up. And I like that. But away from the banking sector and oil and gas always seems like the funnest part to want to invest in. But another sector that shouldn't be looked down upon is the telco. And that is where we're going to at this time. Well, some say that telecommunication is the most important sector when it comes to Nigeria because we have our phones. Let's just say with all of our gadgets. Presently, a lot of our lives are stuck on telcos trying to provide us with all the data that we need. So now that we find ourselves in this space, are telco stocks equally attractive in the way that they should be? Not some will say, "Oh, they're attractive." Some will say, "It's not something up my alley." So, what say you on this one? Is it something that we should be gunning for? Or is it something that if you just want to have something in your portfolio, it's okay?
Okay, so let me start off with saying for me, these are we bias on this. Right? So telcos, I believe we have like two major sectors. Me, I would say telcos and every other sector. Because imagine without telecommunication, we can't come live. Then we can't have this show.
We cannot be. You cannot reach anyone.
So
That is
that's
very
critical.
sensitive.
So it means the what's it called demand is a whole lot. It's something that you need. There is a market for it. It's a growing market.
Mhm.
It's a growing market. So what has really increased the valuation of most telcos companies in recent time is because of the stability in the FS.
Okay.
Because once they need to be able to function as a sector is majorly from the diaspora. You need to import all of those facilities because we don't produce them locally. So you need FS. So if the FS continues to strengthen and they can get whatever they need to function cheaper, so it means there is more money, the margin is going to strengthen. And if you look at the way the system operates now, data is life. Data is life, basically. So you the way data, the way our data is very important to the extent that it's just like the oxygen. You know when your data is going out. You want to you want to just what's it called? You want to ensure that you don't run out of data at any point. It's just
You
like
can ask anyone. The minute their data is running out, they're looking for how to get more so that they don't lose out on what's happening on social media. Right. Like always, you are part of the conversation. You can share your contribution questions on WhatsApp 0911 999 091. I have a message here from Gilbert Musa. Says, oh, by the way, Gilbert Musa is in Pesta. Says, on the continuous drive in the value of the stock market, my question is, in an event we have burst a bubble just like how the market crashed in 2008 to mid 2009. How can investors have a safe landing on their investment options? And also, how can investors fund be protected?
Okay, so my approach to that question. So I'm going to start from the economic point of view, right?
Okay.
So economic situation is always a leading indicator. Before you get to see what the numbers look like,
Mm-hmm.
you must have been seeing the economic situation, the policy that is shaping the what's it called, the market.
Okay.
So if at all there's going to be a bubble, so you must have been seeing that the stock have been
signs.
trading excessively. Bubble don't just balloon and bust. It takes time. So if you that indicator will be there. So if you are looking at the numbers, you are seeing that this stock is trading above the what's it called, the intrinsic value.
Right.
So as an efficient capital manager, you assign a sell to that stock,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that means you need to take your just to answer the question of taking profits. That's when you need to take profit. So you don't want to be thinking that okay, wow, the market, everybody is excited about the stock. Let me continue to be, keep my investing, let me continue to be in this stock. You are not paying attention to risk management because you need to know when a stock is fairly valued. You need to know when a stock is undervalued, and you need to know when the stock is overvalued. So that's will shape how you rebalance your portfolio. That's where portfolio rebalancing comes in. So if you look at your whatever performance, the performance of whatever stock listed on the exchange, you will not you then need to update your projection for this stock. Are you upgrading your valuation for this stock based on what they have done so far and based on what they plan to do from all information available? So that will help you because the economic situation is going to give you that lead. You don't need to wait until the company potentially post a bad financial that is going to
That's when you're not triggered. Oh, I've waited too long and I need to move on. Well, thank goodness we don't have to wait that long. Right. As we try to wrap up on the conversation this evening, there's another sector that I'd like us to quickly touch on, and that is the industrial goods sector. You know, cement at the moment, are they still attractive?
to put a straight answer, right? I'm going to say yes. A number of reasons, right?
Okay.
So if you look at the infrastructure situation of our country, right, you see that we are just catching up. Over the years, if you look at the Nigerian budget from the CAPEX point of view, we have not done so well in that regard. Now that the present administration, they are now trying to catch up, right? So we are seeing a lot of construction, and you need cement to do all of those things.
I agree.
You need cement to do all of those things. So the demand is so solid. We have seen volume majorly from the government, right? There's a lot of volume, and that's the trajectory. Now, to point out that if you look at there is an election will be happening the next year, right? And if you go back in time, for election year is a kind of year that more capital projects is always, always comes to big priority of government.
Right.
Right? Just to reference history, right? So if that's what we are seeing now, so that means that sector is going to do well. And looking at the reports that the earnings release that we saw for players in this sector for the Q1, they did so well. They did so well. So it means that is kind of sustainable. And two things will shape the market for that industry. So the first one, if you look at the energy prices, right, from the events in the Middle East, we are seeing that energy prices just going up, and this is a major input cost for that sector.
Right.
So it might have maybe a kind of effect,
But
but
not
on the what on the margin. But
okay.
what if they are able to go because of that volume increase in the volume? And they are also doing a lot of expansion. We are seeing Dangote Cement, for example, now trying to expand. They have done major expansion in recent time.
Right.
So by the time that facility starts generating income, for example, it's going to increase the what's it called the value. And we've seen the same thing for WAPCO and Lafarge. They have a lot of investments in the pipeline that is going to come to surface and support the valuation of that stock.
Okay. Well, as you know, when it comes to finances and trying to figure out where you want to be, if you want to dip your legs into the water and play with the big boys, well, you know where to go. And talking about where to go, how can they find you on social media? What
So-
is your social media?
So across all social media platforms, you just need to check for Pathway Asset Management
Okay.
Limited. So if you check our website, pathwayassetmanagement.com, right? So you can always get
All the information.
very well.
That's so much we can take today on personal finance. It's been an exciting time. As you know, it comes your way every Wednesday at 5:15. Until next week, it's important to know what your finances are doing and how better to keep it active. Seek out the right platform so you know who's making sure that your money is making it count for you. On the other side is more music for you, and I hope that you are having a pleasant evening. I'm also, so you just move 98.9.